Welcome, everybody, to the 10 Count podcast brought to you by Bodyslam.net. I am Ty P. Across the screen from me is J Star, and we are on the road to the Royal Rumble this Saturday, Saudi Arabia. We get a 2 p.m. Royal Rumble. Actually, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how you feel, Justin, but I'm pretty excited because we get the Rumble through the day. That's calls for day drinking, and then we can celebrate our hopeful prediction wins within the prediction league that we joined to, celebrate at the nighttime. How do you feel about it?
I'd be okay with it if I didn't have to work. I work every Saturday, so I'm going to be at work. I don't know, man. I got to stay off my phone. I got to try to not see any spoilers. It sucks, that's the only thing. I work Saturdays. I work Tuesday through Saturday. So unfortunately, when we get these international PLEs, I'm usually, trying to sneak it in at work, and sometimes it's not possible. So kind of sucks for me, but obviously, I don't know. I guess it's good for everyone else.
It's good for the normal 9-to-5ers, the Monday to Fridays people just hanging out through the week, get the weekend off. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to try and watch it live. I'm going to celebrate my father-in-law's birthday this weekend that we tried to do 2 weekends ago, but he was sick. So this is where we reconvene at this upcoming weekend. But I'll be able to sneak in some watching. I'll definitely be full force during the Rumble matches. I mean, even who am I kidding? The whole card is stacked. Yeah. We got freaking Drew and Sammy. We have career-threatening match. I'm going to throw it back to the Ric Flair days. Where between AJ and Gunther, it's just, this card is pretty freaking stacked. Saudi's getting a great show. A lot of stipulation on the line, right? two main events, well, two title matches between the men and the women. We have a career on the line, and we have the WWE Undisputed Championship on the line. So I don't know about you, but I think the first thing I want to dig into is the career threatening match. We have AJ Styles putting up his career to try and beat Gunther. He made the man tap, but the ref didn't see it. He got too excited, broke the hold. Come on, AJ, you're a vet. You're better than that. You got to wait for the referee to see that. But Justin, going into this match, how are we feeling? I know you tweeted a bit of something sentimental a little earlier today.
Yeah, after what we've been seeing with AJ, it kind of looks like it's written on the stars are aligning for this to not be a pleasant turnout for one phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Last night I was like, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Fast and the Furious, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. So I messed around with some Adobe After Effects for the first time in God knows how long. It took me way too long to make the video that I made and posted on X, but I thought it was fun. I wish I had like a better outcome for this, but after seeing Career Killer get patented by the WWE, it's not looking great. You brought up an interesting comment. I don't know if you want to bring it before we get our predictions, but you mentioned to me for Raw that he said something during his promo that you thought was pretty interesting. So I don't know if you want to bring it up real quick.
Yeah, he said in his promo, at least when he was speaking, he said his WWE career. And I know everyone else is saying other things, but it's not their storyline, right? It's not their story to tell. Punk said your career, if this is your last moment in your career, I want to have that match with you. But AJ Styles himself, if you go back and watch on Monday Night Raw, he said it could be the end of his WWE career. Now, a lot of things are going in my mind in this scenario. And I know with this prediction league, we're starting fresh. We got 0 points. I think we might need to get a little ballsy here. I think we might need to, try and stray some shots that people aren't going to do. And I know, like I said, if it's the route, right, they tease it and it's his WWE career, sure. Then I could see AJ losing and then maybe doing something in TNA to end his career, maybe win the TNA World Championship. But part of me, man, I feel like they're caking this way too hard because let's be realistic. WWE was going to trademark the career killer off the get-go, the moment they did it with John Cena. But they waited. And who knows when they put that trademark in. And why not, say we put this in leading up to a career-threatening match with AJ Styles? Why have Shinsuke Nakamura put out that post and then retract it? Part of me thinks they really want people to fold into this idea that AJ's actually going to lose and his career's going to be over. I'm not buying it. I think AJ might win this one, dude. I'm feeling it in my bones.
So right before air for this prediction league that we're in with the Hit the Turnbuckle podcast, they're running it. Fantastic guys. Shout out to Adam. We obviously sometimes you and I have different opinions. We get to bounce ideas off one another, and that's the fun thing about this thing. We as a team need to come up with one prediction. So going forward, when we are doing these predictions, obviously, I had a little faith in this whole AJ winning thing, but now I'm going down the road, and I guess I'm falling into whatever said trap that you think that WWE may be laying out there. So my gut says that Gunther's winning and AJ's retiring, and this is just how it was planned to be. And we heard him say 2026 was the end of AJ Styles. We just didn't know it was going to be 1 month into 2026.
Yeah,
but you're right. I feel like every other podcast is going to be going the safe route with Gunther. So you sold me. So personally, I think Gunther is going to win, but for the podcast, we are going to go with AJ Styles.
Let's go, baby.
And AJ, it will not be retiring quite yet. I'm with you.
hope
I
so.
think it would be amazing. It really would be such an amazing moment, especially with everything, like you said, that has happened. Shinsuke getting a match with Punk, getting, several different matches out of nowhere, that it's just kind of lining up to being where, all right, this is it. Yeah, let's go, AJ.
And then the other thing too was like the way that world title match ended. Finn interrupted. Like it wasn't a true title match that AJ was able to finish. So I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel just in my bones that there's still so much left for AJ, and they're just hinting little things that are trying to steer us the wrong way. So I'm glad.
When we get into Raw, remind me if I forget. I got to talk Finn Balor, because there's something going on with him that I don't have the puzzle pieces yet, but I see everything starting to map out. So there's interesting things going on with Finn Balor.
I agree. Let's get into, because I want to do the Rumbles last. We can do Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, and I would love for Sami to come out as the WB Undisputed Champion. But part of me also thinks it's too short. We see Drew throw both Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes through tables, and it's tough. So like for me, as like a person predicting on our podcast that's not part of the league, I just want to go ballsy and go Sami. But for our prediction league, dude, it's got to be Drew. I mean, because if I want to be realistic, the man just got the title back. I just got the title back after all these years.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing great already. I mean, the man is a menace. He's showing it. The promos are fantastic. There's a bunch of matches I still want to see him compete through to defend that championship. And the man deserves some time. Like, let that man go into a WrestleMania where there's going to be a huge crowd, and let him defend that championship. So that's how I'm swaying but like I said, in the podcast realm, if we were in part of this league, I would just be throwing my shot and saying Sami, because I want him to win the championship. I want him to finally get one. But ultimately, realistically gotta go Drew.
Yeah, and we discussed this last week, where it would be fun. Let's just see. We have real quick in the YouTube chat, we have Christopher Heratz 5793. Hey guys, I hope you all enjoy the show. And I have Drew retain. I see Sami becoming world champ next year when WrestleMania goes to Saudi.
Yeah,
great thought. It would be a nice moment this weekend also for Sami, but we discussed it, man. It would be cool to see the bouncing around. I know we haven't had that in a while, but I just think it would be such a disservice to Drew McIntyre if he drops the title Saturday at the Royal Rumble. So it was awesome seeing Sami win the number one contendership in Montreal on SmackDown, but it's not the time yet. I think Sami's underdog story continues. It will pay off eventually. He will become world champion, at least in my mind. But it's not happening Saturday. I got Drew. I'm glad that you also have Drew. So for the podcast prediction league, we are going Drew McIntyre retains the title.
Yeah, and Chris brings up a good point, because like this isn't the last stop in Saudi with the huge PLE. Mm-hmm. They get the biggest show of the year, the creme of the crop, WrestleMania next year. So there's still potential for Sami to win a championship in front of a Saudi crowd, and even maybe a Montreal crowd. Who knows? They might have something this year still, or next year. So there's still that possibility where Sami can win in front of a Montreal crowd. Both those crowds are very over for him. They love Sami Zayn. So I like that he was able to win the number one contendership in Montreal to kind of, give him that redemption when he lost to Roman for the championship. So I was happy to see that. So I hope that Sami continues to just grind, get his shots, get his big moments, and enjoy them, because he definitely deserves to be world champion in the future.
Yeah, I feel like they're going the Cody route with Sami. Like, you had that year-long chase, more than a year-long chase for Cody once he returned to WWE, to where he made it to Mania, he lost to Roman, he fought his way back to Mania, and then the payoff happened. So I don't know necessarily if it's going to be exactly like that, but I think they want him to lose the big one and then he just works his way, he grinds his way back, and then the second chance that he gets at the world title, I think it's going to be Sami Zayn's.
Yeah, I agree. So let's get into the Women's Rumble. We have spoken about this a bit in prior podcasts, and I do want to talk about who has been announced. There's 14 spots in the Women's Rumble that still remain, but we have announced and confirmed Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Asuka, Bayley, Lyra, Io, Alexa, Liv, Roxanne, Raquel Rodriguez, Chelsea Green, Last Legend, Nia Jax, Julia, Jordan Grace, Maxine Dupree. Freaking stellar list. And I know the person that isn't on this list is someone that we're both going for because we spoke about this. I'm just going to say it. Bianca Belair. We've done this. If you've listened to the podcast, we've kind of foresaw. We did a 2026 predictions of the year, and we did the Royal Rumble. We did Elimination Chamber. We did Money in the Bank, all those things. So go back and check that one out. That was a fun episode. But yeah, I'm curious to know who those 14 spots could fall to. And there's still a lot of women that are on the roster that aren't there. I mean, we just got a Natty, she pissed on the grave of Natalia. She's full on Natty. On Raw, she's gonna show Maxine Dupree how to really be a women's wrestler. So that's someone who hasn't been announced yet. Who are the women that are willing to travel to Saudi that are legends? Who do you think are gonna be surprises in this one, dude? And just I guess before I pass it to you, do you also agree it's Bianca for the winner of this? Okay.
Yeah, we're going Bianca. Imagine like the past 3-4 weeks we've been saying Bianca, and all of a sudden we just change it up out of nowhere. I do think Liv has a chance. I think Liv is definitely a front runner, but my money's still with Bianca. I was hoping you would ask who we think the surprises are, because this is what I love. I love spots being, us not knowing who's confirmed for it. I think Kathy Kelly spoiled Nikki Bella being on that charter flight. So expect Nikki Bella to be there. People are saying Paige could be returning. I don't know. I feel like the surprises, like you had Triple H go on ESPN today and say that there's several surprises, and they think that they can keep the surprises better just because they're chartering the flights rather than the superstars going commercial. So I don't know, is Paige, there's been smoke of her coming back. I really don't know. Could we see Brie Bella? There's several different possibilities that you can just throw out there. I mean, some people were saying, oh, Tony Khan finally let Britt Baker out of Guantanamo Bay and she's going to be at the Rumble. That's not happening. Christopher in the chat, I have Liv winning the Rumble. The Iron Woman will be Raquel, and I feel Becky is coming out number 1, and number 30 will be the returning Paige. So there you go. So another one saying Paige might be returning. I don't know, man. The more I don't know, the better for me, especially for Royal Rumble season. What about you?
Yeah, I guess as long as everyone stays clear of Kathy Kelly, then we won't have any spoils. But I gotta say, AJ Lee's got to be in this, man. They just did her and Punk just did the hot ones. If you haven't watched that on YouTube, it's hysterical, dude. Their chemistry is unmatched. Punk is a gentleman and a scholar. I will say that. He loves AJ near and dear. But yeah, I mean, I feel like AJ's got to be in this Royal Rumble, but who knows? Because Punk doesn't need to be at this PLE. He's not defending his championship. He doesn't necessarily need to make the trip. So would AJ make the trip if Punk's not making the trip, or would Punk just go if AJ is a part of it, which I could see happening. So I'm curious to see how she might or may not play a factor in this. I think it's a great way for her to show back up to Becky and kind of get in her face and be like, hey, watch that championship, bud.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think the Women's Rumble is really going to be something special. And another thing that, Triple H has said is like, they're going all out. Like this is the biggest event that they've had in Saudi, and they want to make it special. So I can see this being like WrestleMania esque with the 2 Rumbles. Like if this is a failure, no one's gonna want to tune into that WrestleMania no, not this year, but next year. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited, but also a little hesitant.
Yeah, a lot does ride on this, especially for, like you said, for big PLEs being in Saudi, and apparently there's no sign. They can't hang a sign in Saudi. They have to point to a video screen, which is going to be a weird caveat in my opinion. I like the sign. I like the fireworks that go around the sign. So I guess we'll see how that fits in. But we finally have the men's rumble, and Justin, who is our pick to win the men's Royal Rumble?
I'm acknowledging Roman Reigns. I don't know if you're going to join me there, but I got Roman. Roman's returning. Roman is going to get over that hump of continuously coming in second, runner up in the Royal Rumbles. I don't know. I don't see how Roman loses. I think Cody is going to break records. I think Cody's going to have an incredible performance. But I think he's just going to come up a little bit short. I got Roman.
Yeah, I mean,
who do you got?
Yeah, Roman Reigns. I mean, I feel like they're going to either have him go against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, or if somehow Cody gets the belt back, then it's going to be Roman Cody. So I think he fits in either championship. So that's why I see him going either way. They want Vegas to be a big show. Roman Reigns is one of their biggest draws. So they're obviously going to put that man in one of the main events, in my opinion. So I feel like the easiest way to do that is for him to win the Royal Rumble. And let's be realistic. How often is he going to show up from now after the Royal Rumble till Mania? Probably 3 times. So he doesn't really have to do much work if he wins the Rumble to get to Mania. But I do want to look at, there's 13 spots that remain that haven't been announced for the men's side. Finn Balor is not one of them. Apparently, the Royal Rumble is booked up. Finn is not allowed or not going to be in the Royal Rumble. He's got replaced by the likes of Brock Lesnar, who's going to show up. Well, Rey Mysterio might have gotten hurt, and I know he's announced for. Did he not?
No, he's hurt. Yeah. No,
So
Ray's hurt.
So maybe Finn. Maybe that's how they get Finn into the Royal Rumble. Who knows? But Jey Uso, Gunther, he said he will be in it regardless. The only way he was gonna fight AJ was for his career and also do the Rumble. We have Solo Sikoa, Penta, Dragon Lee, Jacob Fatu, Obafemi, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, Javon Evans, R-Truth. For me, and I said this at the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, I think Leon Slater is an easy person to show up and be a surprise entrant for this. WWE absolutely loves this man. I can see Joe Hendry showing up in the Rumble. Definitely. And then Chris saying Roman is winning the Rumble. He will be coming out as number 30. I see Carmelo Hayes, number 1. But for Mania, we are getting a Roman Punk. And that way, Drew, Cody, Jacob in a 3-way. And I agree. Mm-hmm. I think that might be where we're seeing those main events lie. So good one. And El Sanchez said Ray's in Saudi. He may do a backstage angle with Finn, which would be great. Mm-hmm. If Finn attacked Ray and took his spot. We've seen that happen before. So I definitely see that happening. I think that'd be awesome. Get Finn in there. He deserves it. He's going to pave his own way into the Royal Rumble. And we have Kicking It with Leo. I think after Saturday Night Main Event and Raw, I think Liv has to win the Rumble this year. Finally, no disrespect to Bianca, but I'm not a fan of the return winners from injury. I respect that. You have the people who, are grinding all year. Not like Bianca didn't want to grind, but she's been, off TV. She's been healing. And that's why when I was at the Rumble Madison Square Garden 2008, I was not a fan of John Cena. That man shows up 30 looking cocky as hell and took my freaking boy Triple H's Royal Rumble that year. And I was pissed. I gave Cena the 2 birds. I said I was not happy about that, but the crowd loved it. MSG ate it up, not me in court. But yeah, it's just I like when the workhorses have the chance to win it as well. But from a prediction standpoint, I mean, we got to go Bianca. I mean, Jade's the champ. It makes sense. It would be a great a match to have at WrestleMania. So that's why I foresee that. And El Sanchez says prediction, save this. Obafemi eliminates Brock Lesnar. Yes.
I completely agree, El Sancho. Completely 1000% agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, it has to happen. I want that face off so bad. I want that match to happen, right? If Gunther ends Brock Lesnar's career in Minneapolis at SummerSlam, at least have Obafemi start the downfall of Brock Lesnar sometime before that. Maybe Money in the Bank, maybe Backlash, maybe, hey, if Brock and Oba got nothing to do at WrestleMania, why not have those men clash?
I mean, you know that they're gonna get a rocket strapped to Opa's back. What better way than you want a match at WrestleMania? You versus the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Like, let's go. Like, I am all for Lesnar and Oba at WrestleMania. No doubt about it. El Sancho on YouTube says Braun eliminates Oba. I can also see it. I 1000% can see it. So with Braun, you had Heyman go out there today and say that I don't think he used the whole spoiler quote, but he pretty much said Braun Breaker is going to win the Royal Rumble. And I think he said that they might have a plan up their sleeve or something like that, along those lines.
So
yeah,
Logan,
right.
So Logan Paul in the segment on Raw said when they were announced to be in the Rumble, he said we need to come up with a plan and have a clear sign of victory of who we want to win. And he said, I vote Braun Breaker. And then Austin and also Bronson also said we want Braun Breaker to win the Rumble. So they're in it. They already know those three are not winning. They want Braun Breaker to win the Royal Rumble. They're all in cahoots. There's no question. They're like a chain link fence. Unless there's some, opportunity that happens during the Rumble, I don't think they will. I think the Vision is a unit right now, and I think they have some time before we can see some kinks in the armor. But yeah, it's something to be interesting. I just think that with Obafemi, they're not going to have one person eliminate him. It's either going to be a group of people, or if Oba eliminates Brock Lesnar, Brock's coming in and then tossing Oba out. I see that going one of the two ways. And kicking it with Leah says, if Bianca wins the Rumble, it's copy and paste from Charlotte winning last year. And then on top of that means Charlotte and Bianca would have won 4 Rumble wins combined out of the 8. Yeah, I mean, it's true. But I feel like they love you. WWE loves both those women a lot. They have a lot of faith in them. And usually their storylines kind of fit well into what's happening or who's the champion. So it could happen.
Liv's definitely my second guess. Like if it's not Bianca, I definitely want to see Liv win it. And truthfully, like I feel like it might even make more sense for Liv to win. But like Ty said, with the way we're thinking is who's the champion right now? You have Jade Cargill. Who has the biggest gripe with Jade Cargill? It would be Bianca Belair. So it just adds up, and it just makes way too much sense. I mean, sure, I guess you can have Bianca return, lose, and then win the Elimination Chamber. But we've seen that too. So I mean, we've seen Bianca do pretty much everything that we need to see. So if they're gonna get there, I feel like just the Rumble's the way to go. Christopher on YouTube, I feel Braun opponent at Mania is going to be Seth freaking Rollins, which we can actually get into. Did you see Seth on ESPN? And the announcer was like, oh, talking about Saudi. And he was like, oh, and you're going to be returning at the Royal Rumble. And and Seth's face just like drops, like he saw a ghost. I think there was more context to that afterwards, and I think he cleared that up where he said, like, listen, dude, I'm not going to get cleared. But I just found that interesting. And then we have El Sancho on YouTube. Grace is just a filler to Bianca, unfortunately. Yeah, Jordan Grace, she'll find her path. But you're right. I agree. Filler to Bianca, and it just makes too much sense that Bianca wins the Royal Rumble on Saturday.
Yeah, but Jade also needs that because she had a defense against Chelsea Green, right? She hasn't really done anything but be a menacing presence, which is fine. But at least have her defend the championship and decimate, at least give the mid-card opportunities to get decimated, right? The B-Fabs, the Meechins, I hate that Chelsea Green was buried. That to me just, I could rant all freaking day. That is your best and longest reigning United States champion right there. Your AAA mixed tag champion right there, who is a workhorse on all 3 of SmackDown, NXT, and AAA. Not going to continue. Anyway, but I think she needs a high-profile defense, especially on the road to WrestleMania. I think she needs at least 1 or 2 more. Maybe her and Jordan Grace, have a banger and they give it their all, and Jade just wins, and then they run it back at Elimination Chamber in some kind of street fight. Like, look how that street fight went between Naomi and Jade at what was it? Evolution. That was insane. Amazing match. We got the Naomi cash in, but Jade can go in a street fight. And El Sanchez said Grace versus Julia will be good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's where they're going to poise that mid-card United States Championship. I think we're going to see the Julias, the Jordan Graces, hopefully still the Chelsea Greens kind of feuding over that belt to kind of make it, more prestigious and more relevant.
Yeah, and just seeing like El Sancho like mention Grace, Julia, like you brought up Chelsea, like it just still irks me that like watching WWE Unreal and they're like, oh, what do we do with the United States Championship? And they're like, oh, just run it back with. Yeah, it's like they have so much talent.
I know.
Like it is fucking crazy that they couldn't like figure anything fucking out, which I don't know. It's beyond me, but that just kind of jolted that back into my mind. Kicking it with Leo on YouTube. I get what you guys are saying. You have valid points. It's just, to me, I'm thinking if she doesn't win, I don't see a world where she ever will win. It's one of those things where it's now or never. I agree to some extent. I feel like Liv has something playing out still within the Judgment Day. So there's going to be other opportunities for Liv to win the Royal Rumble. I just feel like for Liv, her focus needs to be, obviously, I think she's being sneaky still. I think she's a sneaky snake. And I think they're eventually going to either turn on Raquel, and I still need to see the implosion of the Judgment Day. And I just feel like that's the route we're going to go with her, especially, you have Punk talking to Finn backstage saying, oh, you got to drop the Judgment Day. And then you have Dom go out and tweet pretty much saying, I don't trust anybody. And then he's like, oh, but don't worry, Liv, me and you are still good. I feel like the Judgment Day implosion needs to happen for us to see the progression of Finn Balor, for us to see, again, the progression of Liv Morgan, because until then, it's just it's like a continuous cycle where, sure, Liv's going to be champion again, but I want to see Liv be champion without needing the help from Raquel and Roxanne. So that's kind of where I'm at with Liv Morgan.
Yeah, and don't forget, I mean, granted, Liv deserves to win a Rumble, but she's also the first ever Crown Jewel champion. I think that's more difficult to get than winning a Rumble. Most of these women and men will consistently be in Royal Rumbles and have been consistently in Royal Rumbles for the last few years and the next few years. But to be the champion in October, that's the only way you win a Crown Jewel championship. That's the only way you get the ring. And they had enough faith and they loved her so much that she was the first ever Crown Jewel champion. So if she wins a Rumble, if she doesn't win a Rumble, especially this year, does it suck? Sure, but she's got accolades, man. She's a how many time women's tag team champion. She's good. She doesn't need the Royal Rumble. Would it be great? Yeah, 100%. I would love for Liv to win the Royal Rumble, but she doesn't need it. Liv Morgan has kind of solidified herself as one of, if not one of the top women on that main roster, on Raw, even on SmackDown. So I don't think it hurts if she doesn't win the Rumble this year.
I mean, hell, I think Liv Morgan is currently, like, if you go to like my bookie or something, I believe she is the current favorite to win the Rumble. So, I mean, the opportunity is there. The chance is there. It can happen. But I mean, hold on, I'm going to pull it up right now. Yeah. Liv Morgan right now, currently to win the Royal Rumble is -125. Number 2 would be Bianca Belair at +200, Rhea at +310, Tiffany Stratton. I forgot about Tiffany possibly returning at the Rumble, +600, and then Charlotte rounding it out at +1200.
Did you see Tiffy on social media rocking some Saudi looking gear showing it
No,
off?
I didn't.
So she definitely, kind of spoiled that herself. And Stussy6 on YouTube said, I'd like to see Liv win the chamber, considering she's been in every women's chamber match so far and hasn't won. Yeah, exactly. I think that'd be a perfect way to get her involved. And especially because, like you said, Justin, in the Royal Rumble, I want to see the Judgment Day, these cockroaches finally start to crack, right? So if you have a Roxanne take advantage of a Liv and toss her out, that's an awesome way to go about it. Even a Raquel Rodriguez do it as well. So I think there's opportunity in this Rumble that can start the downfall of the Judgment Day. And I say that now, but come SummerSlam, when there's like 2 new members and they're still alive, I'll just be like, you know what? I'm just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, no, I said it probably 5 months ago. I'm out on the guessing when the Judgment Day is going to break up game because they're cockroaches. You can go back in the archives of this podcast 2 years ago, and I thought that, you know, they were gonna break up, but here we are. We're still better than ever with the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
Stussy, yeah, Stussy on YouTube, and you can have all 3 of them in the chamber too. You could. I don't know if I would go that route. I feel like there's maybe 2 of them, maybe like Raquel and Liv. Maybe perhaps you have Roxanne on the outsides, get in there somehow. But you definitely absolutely could.
Yeah, and there's 2 things Justin and I don't touch anymore. It's the Judgment Day, when they're gonna fall, and when JC Jane's gonna lose her championship. Those are 2 things we're not touching with a 10-foot pole anymore. It's not even worth trying to guess.
We can't. Absolutely, we cannot.
Hopefully, the prediction league, the JC Jane matches stay off the cards, because we'll obviously get that wrong. So that's a scary thing. I do want to talk about, as you mentioned, Raw with Finn Balor. I want to hear your thoughts, man. I know you're excited to talk about it, so let's hear it.
Yeah. So obviously you have the backstage segment with Punk telling Finn, hey, you gotta leave them, leave Judgment Day, whatever, you know. I'm not verbatim, but pretty much around that's exactly what he said. And then he goes to declare himself in the Royal Rumble, and Adam Pearce says, hey man, you had your chance last week, and you know we're full. Meanwhile, you have Brock Lesnar like today declaring that he's in the Rumble on Pat McAfee's show. There's a lot that, like, it's them declaring that it's full. Like, we still don't know who's in it. I guess they're keeping, obviously they just don't want to announce who's in it. But yeah, I think Finn is going to do something at the Royal Rumble to get himself in that match. And I forget who it was. I'm just going to quickly scroll back up in our chat. But El Sancho said on YouTube that Raisin Saudi, which we saw photos of, I think it was him, Dragon Lee, and Penta on the charter. Yeah, if you know, he, from what I know, he got hurt in his last match. Have Finn go and do something out of the, you know, let his rage engulf him. Let the demon that's inside Finn Balor come out and take that spot. Take what's his. He said this, you know, I'm not done with this. And so I think, you know, Finn's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I don't know how they get there, but I do believe that he will.
Wait, before we get into this comment, I have a theory. What if, I think this would be hysterical, what if Finn beats down Ray as he's about to come out, but as Finn's beating down Ray, Dominic takes the spot and enters the Rumble over Finn?
Damn.
I think that would be pretty freaking epic.
I mean, it would. I know Dom's still nursing an injury. I don't know if he's close to returning, but damn, I think that would be the icing on the cake to finally push Finn over the edge and be like, you know, screw this. I would be totally with you. That's a great idea. Kicking it with Leo on YouTube. I think Bianca losing setups the chamber, and we get Jade defending the title in the chamber against Bianca, Alexa, Charlotte, Jordan, and Tiffany. That is a stacked elimination chamber.
That is a stacked elimination chamber. But then what do you do for WrestleMania at that point? That's where you kind of, you know, does Jade I don't know, does Jade then win, or does she lose the elimination chamber? And then if she wins, I mean, she just beat 5 women that are stellar. Just who gets that shot at Mania? But if she loses, I guess you could have that rematch. But I think that's
I guess decision. Usually they're not defending the title inside the chamber. So I see what you mean. But and then we have Stussy I would lose it if people like Otis, Tozawa, or Santos are in
I
the Rumble,
know.
but not Finn. Hey, Otis and Tozawa are on a winning streak. So, Stussy, watch it, brother. No, yeah, I'm with you. That's why, like, we didn't even get into who we think our surprises might be. Like, the rumor's still out there. You know, Chris Jericho hasn't showed up anywhere. Is Jericho debuting or returning to WWE on Saturday? That Triple H has come out. This is what I'm about to. You know how I told you Triple H likes to say things and then he doesn't pull through with it because he just gets excited. He went on ESPN and said that there's several surprises, especially for the men's Rumble. If these surprises disappoint, man, I am so out on the Triple H game. So out.
Have faith, dude. Have faith in Hunter. Have faith in Trips, man. I knew this was gonna come up because the moment he said that, I'm like, dude, take your foot out of your mouth sometimes, dude. Just let things play out. Don't hype it up. You've already hyped it up, right? You had Roman declare, Brock Lesnar declare. You know, you already have, Obafemi packages saying he's entering the Rumble. So you already have interest. And it's not hard to gain interest for the Royal Rumble. It's the most watched PLE, especially last year. It was the most watched PLE of the whole year. And it's probably going to be the same for this year. Maybe not because it's a 2 p.m., right? And some people, like you said, Justin, you're working on Saturdays. But so I don't know. It's not needed to really hype up the Royal Rumble. So I feel like just, if you have surprises, don't even say it. Just say, hey, just tune in. I think you'll be happy, right? That's it. You don't need to be like, check it. We got all these surprises, especially the men's this year, because last year we didn't do shit. So
and that's exactly it. And I have a gripe with Triple H, man. He can go out there and say some stuff and he just doesn't deliver on it. So this is one of those moments. He said something out there on national TV to hype up his PLE, which I don't think really needs much more hyping up. Now you got to kind of pull through.
Yeah. And I kind of want to talk a little bit more about Finn too, especially with, Finn gave Punk his flowers right before he interrupted that main event. And also Liv Morgan was in his ear kind of saying, yo, what are you doing? Like, this is not what we do. Don't let CM Punk try and change your mind about the Judgment Day, how we do things. And I like it. They paid Finn Balor a ton of money. They gave him a huge contract. I think it was the beginning of last year. And so they need to use the guy. Like, you don't pay someone a ton of money just to like let him coast by. So I think we're going to see a big year from Finn. And if it's not fully this year, 2027 is probably going to be a huge year for Finn if it's not this year. So I like that they're teasing this. I like that we're seeing this dynamic. I want, usually Finn is the orchestrator on the Judgment Day, like teasing and making jokes and trying to like get people to like fight against each other. But now, he's the only guy left right now. JD's hurt. Dom's hurt. It's him and the ladies. And now Liv's kind of playing him like a puppet. And he's down in the dumps, right? He lost the title match. He hasn't been a world champion since he was the first ever Universal Champion and got hurt and had to drop it the next day. So the man is salivating for a championship like that. So I can't wait to see the trajectory of his character in the upcoming years.
Yeah, I mean, we've read that Finn's in for a big singles push this year, so I'm just hoping that it comes to fruition. On YouTube, Kicking It with Leo, Jade wins by cheating against Bianca, and it leads to them facing at Mania, similar to how Daniel Bryan's story from Rumble to Mania went in 2014. Once again, I could totally see it, and that's why I don't know. I feel like storyline wise, it just makes the most sense for a returning Bianca Belair to end up winning the Rumble. And then we have Stussy on YouTube. Jake Paul, I can see him going to Saudi. But that guy still has a broken jaw, I believe.
Yeah, he's still collecting teeth from the ring that he got just freaking knocked out. And...
yeah, I don't see him hopping in the ring anytime too soon. I think he's going to take some time off after Anthony Joshua broke his jaw. And then
Stussy, yes, dude.
Stussy, imagine Finn winning the world title 10 years after SummerSlam 2016, only to be immediately cashed on by Dom. that would hurt my soul. I think that would actually like physically hurt my soul. Like I don't get like super like emotional on that thing, but like for Finn Balor, if that was to actually play out, I would feel so bad for Finn. So bad for Finn.
It'd be perfect though, dude.
It would be perfect.
His first 2 world title reigns were less than a day. That would be insane. I would be all, dude. I would, as much as I would feel bad for Finn, that would be hysterical. Dom would get so much heat. I mean, it would go over so perfectly. I would love every second of that.
Yeah, no, I actually, I feel like we're speaking it into existence, and sometimes I don't like doing that. Because if that does happen, man, I will feel so bad for Finn. Like I would feel really, really, really bad for Finn.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm trying to think. We have speaking of earlier, Sussy mentioned Otis and Tozawa, freaking number 1 contenders. I didn't expect that. I watched one face team against 3 heels, and I assumed that, you know, the first team to go against the Usos was going to be a heel team. You know what? We haven't seen the Creed brothers do much in a long time. I was surprised to see them. You know, I just assumed another, you know, Usos New Day match is going to be like headlining because they always put on a stunner. But yeah, Tozawa got the victory. Tozawa looked great. He wasn't really in that comedic role, especially at the end of that match. So I'm happy that they're taking him more seriously, and even the Alpha Academy, right? It's weird that they still keep that name, but I'm excited to see them actually get an opportunity. They're obviously going to lose to the Usos, but at least they actually finally get to wrestle and have an opportunity at a championship.
Yeah, no, I loved the outcome of that match because it shocked me. I mean, I'm glad that Otis and Tozawa got the recognition that they deserve. They've been in WWE for several years now. They've been nothing but good soldiers, and I'm glad to see, you know, they're probably not going to win. I don't see them defeating the Usos, but just to get a title match, that's what I'm excited for them. So I couldn't be happier with the outcome of that match. Stussy on YouTube, we didn't get the Cody Punk pre-Rumble promo this time. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. We didn't get the Cody Punk pre-Rumble promo this time. Oh, like the declaring, because Cody definitely like went out there on a rant declaring for the Rumble. I don't know if that's what you mean by that. And then we have another one on YouTube, 7-Eleven. I love 7-Eleven. It feels like this could be a way to turn the Usos heel. Yeah, I mean, it just then
Jay's too over. I can't that's the problem. Jay is racking in so much merch money that I don't think they would pull that trigger. They have the Usos coming out to it's just me Us because of how over Jay is. Like Jimmy is an afterthought in this tag team so that Jay can continue to use his music, do his entrance, do his gimmick, and Jimmy's just like, yeah, I'll eat a little bit, you know. So I can't see the Usos going heel. The moment Jay starts to maybe drop in sales and merch sales, I think they'll start doing it. And you said at 7-Eleven again, they have played with the idea of Jay Snap. They have. I agree. And I think it's going to happen down the line. I think maybe if they lose the championships at like WrestleMania and there's a big match they lose it on and Jimmy loses it and Jay can really start to deteriorate. But just like leading into the biggest event of the year, they want to sell. They want to sell money and print it and whatever they can do with the money. So I think at least until WrestleMania, I think the Usos will stay face.
It's like what we discussed last week, right? With Cody and Cody, like the idea of turning Cody heel. You can toy with it all you want, but in the end, it's TKO.
Yeah,
that runs the ship. And when they see their top 2 merch sellers are Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, I don't know if they have the cojones. I think that's exactly the words that I said last week.
Yeah,
I don't think they have the cojones to pull the trigger. As much as us as fans would love to see a heel Cody at the right time, a heel Jay again at the right time, I don't think TKO wants to let go of the merch money that Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are currently producing. So I think they're just going to keep continuing to tease it and tease it and tease it until the moment is right. But I don't know if the moment's going to be right exactly for Jay. Like I feel like we'll see a tweener Usos group rather than a heel, like a full-blown heel Jay Uso. 7-Eleven, another factor that could send Jay over the edge, Roman eliminating Jay in the Rumble.
Would love that. Would love that.
I'm definitely here for that too. Like, this is what I love about the Royal Rumble. And Ty, like you mentioned it, like the Rumble always has the most eyes on it because who doesn't love the Royal Rumble, right? Like I have friends that come out of the woodworks that say that they don't watch, professional wrestling, but then I'm at work on a Saturday afternoon missing the Royal Rumble and they're texting me, "Oh, did you just see that?" I was like, "You told me you didn't even watch wrestling. Like, what the hell's going on here?" But that's just the aura of the Royal Rumble. No one knows who's going to show up. Everyone wants to see the surprises. Everyone wants to see the returns. Everyone wants to see that one nostalgic act like Bushwhacker Jim that might show up in Saudi Arabia. I don't know, but it's the Rumble is something special, and the Rumble is where so many various different storylines can start, builds. Like that's why they say like the road to Mania starts at the Rumble, and that's what I can't wait to see because we are going to know Saturday night where, like, what direction we're going in for WrestleMania. Yeah. And for that, and that means for Roman, that means for the Usos. Like we're going to know, all right, we see that we're going to go down this path, and I can't wait to see where we're going with everything.
Yeah, and also it leads to other matches that aren't championship matches. We have face-offs in the Rumble that you wouldn't necessarily think would happen that then lead into a WrestleMania feud, maybe Elimination Chamber feud, maybe the little sprinklings of a feud post WrestleMania for the new wrestling season for WWE. Like that's why I love it too, because you see these things happen and you see like things of kinks in the armor, like maybe in the Judgment Day. You see people face off, you're like, oh crap, I can't wait for this to happen. And then in SummerSlam, you're like, here it is. Like, this is cool as crap. So that's why I love the Rumble. There's just so much comes from it, not just the main events and the WrestleMania stuff, but the stories that will then move forward for the next following year. And I want to get back to what Stutzy was talking about. He said for the past 2 years, Cody and Punk had a promo together on Raw for the Rumble. They did, but it's, it was kind of Punk kind of calling his shot about trying to main event, right? He wanted to main event WrestleMania and be a champion. I think that was the first year. The second year was he wanted to fight Cody for the belt. But there wasn't really a need for this year, right? Because Punk's the champion. Cody has his eyes set on the WWE Undisputed Championship. He's not looking for the world title. So I don't know if it was really necessary. And then Stussy again, the Rumble 04, the only time we got Cena and Goldberg in the ring. Yeah, exactly. I mean, who knows what will pop up? Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I can't wait for 2:00 on Saturday.
And then we have 7-Eleven. I think if last year's Rumble has anything to go by, I feel like winner won't be obvious, at least for the men's Rumble.
TKO, baby.
I want to agree with you, but it just goes back to, a returning Roman Reigns. I feel like after all the several times that he's come runner up, I don't know. TKO. Just like Ty said, I think the easiest route for them to go is Roman Reigns, and I think for that matter, we are going to get Roman Reigns. I would be more curious as to Ty, who do you think the final 5 or the final 4 are going to be in the men's Rumble? And I'll give you some time to think. But I definitely think Cody's going to be there. I definitely think Roman's going to be there. If there is a returning Chris Jericho, I think Jericho will be one of them. And then I feel like I don't know if I want to. A part of me wants to say Randy, but I also feel like Randy's going to be one of those guys in the Rumble that his Mania direction is going to happen in the Royal Rumble. So I feel like whoever eliminates Randy Orton, that's kind of the path that we're going to go down.
Yeah, I feel like honestly,
LA Knight.
No, I feel like to me, and maybe it'll happen sooner because of what's happening with the two of them. But I could see Roman, Cody, Jacob, and Braun Breaker at the end. I can see, Roman coming in, clearing out the vision. So there goes Bronson Reed, there goes Logan Paul, there goes Austin Theory, right? So then you have Cody, Roman, Jacob, and Braun Breaker. You have, two of the future and two of the now. And I think that's how it's going to go.
I like that idea. We have Stussy. If it could have been interesting though, since Cody and Punk are now in the opposite places with Punk as champ. That is very true. And then 7-Eleven, Orton eliminates Cody.
It'd be epic. Dude, I want that.
I wouldn't mind that either. I would not mind that either.
I want that feud, dude. I want Orton Cody. I don't care. It doesn't need to be for a championship. I want a new age, modern day Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes feud. And I don't care who's the heel and who's the face. Just make it happen.
Where do you see that happening? Possibly like SummerSlam?
I would hope it was happening during
Mania.
I would love it to be at a Mania. I think that'd be epic if it culminated at Mania. There will be. Dude, Chad Gable's coming back. You're gonna have Ludwig Kaiser Grande and Chad Grande, and they're just gonna go fucking bash shit on each other. I think Sancho, great surprise would be Evil debuting. I did see that. I did see some things about that online, so that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna they might actually, because Triple H said there's multiple surprises for the men's rumble, so who knows? But I mean, with Evil leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, they said he was backstage at a few I guess Raws or SmackDowns, whatever it was. I think it's only a matter of time. I think he's going to WWE or the night after Mania. Could also be another great moment where I know we're at the 55-minute mark, but to me, Raws after Mania, they haven't hit as hard as they used to, dude. I've been thoroughly disappointed with Raws after Mania recently. Because
the problem is they noticed it, right? They said, "Oh, it's the Raw after Mania. We're gonna try to juice this thing up," and it's like, no, let the international crowd do their thing, hype it up, and whatever happens. And throw 2 or 3 big things in there, a surprise, a cash in, fine. But let the crowd react organically. Don't be like, it's the Raw after Mania. The crowd usually gets real rowdy on this one. It's like, why even notice it? Just let the crowd have their fun. Put in moments that you think might hit, and then let it be. And I think that I think Vince, in my opinion, tried to diminish it a bit. I think he wanted it just to be another Raw. And that's why we saw things that there was Raws after Mania that didn't have any surprises after that. But to me, I don't know, is the Raw after Mania in Saudi or is it in the US?
For next year?
I mean, sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking too far ahead. It's probably in Vegas.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So yeah, I mean, the crowd's gonna be nuts. And I think they should just not reference it, have a good time, and throw things in there that they might think people enjoy.
I'm with you. And then El Sancho one more time on YouTube. Nakamura in the ring, only one standing, and Evil debuts. I mean, it would be awesome, and I think Evil is going to definitely put in some good work for WWE if and when that becomes a thing. But with that said, we are at the 1 hour mark. We want to thank all 200 of you that are currently here live with us on a Wednesday night talking about the Royal Rumble. We loved all of the participation. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are here every Wednesday and Sunday for the quick count. So let's ring that bell, because this podcast episode is over. Once again, we thank you all so much for participating. This is what we love. We had a little, Ty and myself, we discussed what we were going to talk about, and then we just kept running with you guys and whatever you guys were saying, because it's the conversation that we enjoy and we love. And so thank you all for participating so much. Top right corner, as you can see, is a QR code. It'll bring you to prowrestlingtees.com. It'll bring you to the official merch of the 10 Count and the Quick Count podcast. And then obviously, for those of you that are here, if you enjoyed the show, that are new here, top left corner at the 10 Count Pod on all socials, especially YouTube. We are two subscribers away from 100. And then, as you can see along on the scrolling ticker down at the bottom, please subscribe to the Body Slam Patreon for exclusive breaking news, interviews, podcasts, and more. It is $5 a month, and it is well worth the cup of coffee. And then obviously go subscribe, go follow Body Slam on all socials at Body Slam Net. If you would like to follow us personally, you have Ty. He is at TLP_maximum on X, and I am at JStar02 on X. Once again, thank you all for joining us. Ty and myself are actually going to be on a podcast tomorrow night, but I don't think it's live. So when that goes live, we will shoot that out to the masses. But thank you all so much. Enjoy the Royal Rumble. Enjoy SmackDown. Enjoy Dynamite. Enjoy Thursday Night Impact. You want to say something?
Yeah, and make sure to go check out Justin and I were on Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast this past Sunday. So go to their channel. I think it's HTT Buckle on socials. And check out our episode. We loved it. We spoke about a lot of things with Adam, and it was super fun. So go check that out as well.
So once again, thank you all so much. It is Ty. It is J-Star. And until next time, we are out.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.